Most respected family members, my pranams to you. Today we will be analyzing a very interesting story from Bible. We have to analyze that story based on scientific, logical and a rational thought input. In the 21st century, mere belief or faith should not drag you to anywhere. Even the concept of God, concept of spirituality should be analyzed scientifically, logically and rationally. You know that the whole Bible starts from creation, Genesis, creation of the universe by the God in 7 days, in which one day he created Adam, and as a partner for Adam he created Eve. You know that this itself is against science, against Darwin's evolution theory. Nobody can, no scientist in the world can approve, no logical, no rational man can approve this theory that on a fine morning God created one man and a woman for him, that too from his vertebra, a bone. That is also non-scientific, non-logical. And from Adam and Eve starts the whole Bible. So remember that the base, the foundation of Bible itself is non-scientific, non-logical and non-rational. And it is so mentioned that in the Eden garden, Adam and Eve were walking. At that time appeared a serpent, a snake, and the serpent started discussing with Adam and Eve, arbitrarily fixing or so calculated that the story of Adam and Eve starts from BC 4012 or so. It is calculated, back calculated based on the Bible data. Then the people reached BC 4012. 4012, the year approximately or correctly Adam was born. But remember that the oldest human skull excavated from Mongolia has got 2 lakhs years ancestral. 69,000 years old human body has been excavated from Ural Mountains, Italy. Whereas Adam and Eve only 6,000 years. Oldest full human body 69,000 years old. So the God creating Adam and Eve is 100% fake. And again coming to the point, Adam and Eve were walking, the serpent came and serpent started discussing with Adam and Eve. Do you think that 6,000 years ago a serpent can talk with a human being? Let it be a story there. And the serpent advised Adam and Eve that they should eat the fruit of knowledge. My first doubt, the God created the whole universe. God created Adam and Eve. God created day and night. If God is the is the phenomenon which created everything in the world. Naturally, this serpent or Satan in the form of serpent would also have been created by the same God. Why did he create the Satan? And Satan told Adam and Eve to eat the fruit of knowledge. The fruit of knowledge is a tree. Who created that tree? That also the same God. But God prevented Adam and Eve eating that fruit. Why did he prevent that? Because the serpent answers this question to Adam and Eve. God never wanted people to elevate themselves to the level of God. That means the God always wanted people to live in the primitive way. That again is non-scientific, logical and non-rational. But Adam and Eve, they were walking in the Eden garden fully naked. And snake or serpent advised them that when they eat the fruit of knowledge means they should get educated. They should become wise. They should get themselves elevated from the primitive human being to an educated, knowledgeable human being. That the Satan wanted, but God did not want that. See how negative the God concept itself. God never wanted people to elevate themselves. Satan wanted people to elevate themselves. Adam and Eve ate the fruit of the knowledge as per the advice of Satan. And if they would not have eaten the fruit, what would have happened? Have you ever thought about it? Adam and Eve would have been walking naked throughout, and their offspring, all the Christians in the world also would have been walking naked itself. Why the Christians are now wearing the dress? Only because of the great advice of Satan. But remember that Satan is tarnished by the Christians, and the God Jehovah who told Adam and Eve not to eat the fruit of knowledge, that Jehovah is worshipped. That is the most negative thing according to me. And also remember, after eating the fruit of knowledge, Adam and Eve came to know that they are naked. They became wise. It is naturally expected from a human being to become more and more wise, which the God prevented, Satan encouraged. And when they came to know that they are naked, they started covering their body parts. But the God did not like that. Unfortunately, Jehovah wanted to see and enjoy the naked body of human being. Most unfortunate. And the God cursed Adam and Eve. There starts the biblical story or Bible. And I think that is the first sin committed by human being. What is that sin? Eating the fruit of the knowledge tree and getting elevated as a wise man and woman and covering their body parts, particularly private parts, and then becoming a rationally thinking human being that the God did not like. And God cursed because of the sin committed. This is the Adi Pabam and the first sin, it appears to me. And for this sin, Jesus Christ was crucified later. That is after 4,000 years. Again, the story of Adam and Eve, that is not ending there itself. Adam and Eve got a son, Cain, and Cain got another son, Hanok. Hanok got another son, Methuselah. God created only Adam and Eve, but Cain married a girl. From where that particular that girl came from? And Cain got Hanok. Hanok also married. That means another girl was also there. Methuselah also married. That means the third girl was there. If three girls should be there, means they would have been the parents also. So there were other people other than Adam and Eve. And later on God advised one of these children to go to Egypt and convert them to Christianity or followers of Jehovah, smash their idols and so on. The advice given by Jehovah to the fourth or fifth generation of Adam to go to Egypt and smash the worshipping idols of the people living in Egypt. That means people were there in Egypt. So just think that the serpent story, the Jehovah story, Adam and Eve story, the first sin story, the curse given by the God to Adam and Eve, all are fake stories. And the sin committed by Adam and Eve is compensated by crucifying Jesus Christ. Where it can be rationally, logically analyzed or justified, and after Adam and Eve, so many people came, and God was almost partial to his own people. What is really meant by the divine quality of God? The God should not become jealous. The God should not think that the whole people should follow him only. The God should be impartial and unbiased. The God should have all positive qualities. God should never have a negative quality. And as Bernard Shaw said, for the sin committed by two people 6,000 years ago, one holy man was crucified 2,000 years ago. For the sin committed by two people, so-called sin, it is not a sin. Getting themselves elevated and becoming a wise couple is not at all a sin. According to Jehovah, it may be a sin, but according to scholars, scientists and thinkers, it can never become a sin. So that so-called sin committed by Adam and Eve 6,000 years ago was compensated by hanging a holy man created by God in a virgin. God creating an embryo in the womb of the virgin is absolutely humbug. God cannot give semen. God cannot give the seed for fertilization, sperm for fertilization. And that man, holy man created, was used exclusively for compensating the Adi Pabam, the first sin committed by Adam and Eve. And there starts the illogical explanation of the story of Jesus Christ also. And the God sent his people throughout the world for converting other people as his followers. Some of the people who wanted to have followers for themselves, it may be human quality. But how a God think that everyone in the world should follow only me? Most illogical way of thinking. It is a autocracy. An autocrat can never be called as a god. If an autocrat can become an autocrat, like Jehovah can become a god, then Hitler would have been a better god, because Hitler killed millions of people, it appears. It appears Stalin also killed 1.71 crore people. So like that, if you count the number of people killed by Jehovah or Jehovah's instruction for the sin committed by those people that they did not follow Jehovah, the number goes in millions. Do you think that this is the quality of a God? Creating the human being on a fine morning, creating a woman from that man, preventing them becoming wise, and cursing them because of the incapability for persuading them, and that mistake committed by that couple is putting on the head of somebody else who was born 4,000 years later and hanging him. I in between told you about Bernard Shaw. Bernard Shaw said, it is the most foolish thing in the world that for the crime committed by somebody, a good man is hanged. Whenever I used to take classes for the Christians, I used to ask, there are so many prisoners in Indian and foreign jail. They are all sinners because they committed so much crime. For the sin committed by these criminals, if the Bishop of India is hanged or crucified, how you will justify that? Even in the 21st century, the mistake or the crime committed by the son or father cannot be compensated by the imprisonment of the father or son. If son committed a mistake, you cannot imprison any of the relatives. Why I am telling like this? The sin is not transferable. You cannot transfer one man's sin to other man's head. You cannot transfer the hunger from one man to another man. You cannot transfer the thirst from one man to another man. And even the flight ticket or the ship ticket or even a ticket purchased for visiting a museum cannot be transferred to others' name. Under that situation, do you think that the sin committed by Adam and Eve can be compensated, or the sin committed by the Christians can be put on the head of Jesus Christ and crucify him? The whole drama of crucifixion in Good Friday, a man who dead is resurrecting on the third day, and all these are fake stories. And even the greatest believer, the perfect believer in Bible cannot justify this fake and blunder story. On this story established the Bible. That's why in the beginning I said the whole Bible has got a loose, illogic, non-rational, non-scientific, non-truthful facts. But because the missionaries pump these false messages on the brain of the poor people and use all treachery and crooked ways for converting the people, and do all nonsense for pumping the wrong messages, thousands of people get converted. Those who were not converted earlier, they were killed. Saint Francis Xavier, he killed 40,000 Hindus for their not converting into Hindu fold, Christian fold. All the provocations and preachings were done by the so-called murderer Francis Xavier, but the Hindus were reluctant in Konkan area to get converted into Christianity. Then he killed them, 40,000 people. Francis Xavier himself wrote the letter to Pope saying that when I kill the non-believers and idolaters and I smash their tent, that means the temple. He used the word tent. When I smashed their tent, I get that happiness that cannot be built, that cannot be explained by words. Such a murderer got converted into a saint exclusively because of this. This negative doing is labeled as positive things. A negative God is labeled as a positive God. A positive Satan is labeled as a negative Satan. All negative things are labeled as positive in Christianity. And that too created for making people believe such type of fake and humbug stories. People are forced to know or believe that they are sinners. They are told that they are sinners. What is the sin? And how somebody's sin will be getting transferred into the present generation. One person whose name was Matthew, he has uploaded his comment in YouTube and said that Mr. Gopalakrishnan, for your sin and the sin committed by Indian, Jesus Christ was crucified. I was born very recently, and all the Indians now living in India, 121 crore people, they might not have born 100 years before. All of them are aged below 100. So the people who were born in 19th century and 20th century living now, for the so-called sin committed by these people, according to Matthew, 2000 years ago, so-called God's son was crucified. So the sin was transferred back, not forward. The loan and other type of thing is not transferred back, but forward only. So the sin committed by we people, a man was crucified 2000 years ago. That means I am hungry today. For appeasing my hunger, last century somebody has taken food. For appeasing the thirst that I have got today, day before yesterday my daughter has taken water for solving my thirst problem today. So just analyze it. You should analyze every word after questioning. You know, the Samsung company gave freedom to question everything. Then only Samsung could develop to this level. Michael Dell gave the freedom to question everything and everyone. Then only the Dell computers got elevated. Steve Jobs, Apple computer man, questioned everything. So to all young Christians, all educated Christians, and all good Christians living on 21st century, my request to you as a scientist, rationally, logically, scientifically analyze. Whether you are listening a story or the experience or event or the message, don't close your eyes and just mug up. This is the scientific era, logical era and rational era. Having faith in God is excellent. And spirituality has become the fourth pillar of psychology, no doubt about it. But 99% of the stories and events explained in Bible if you analyze scientifically, logically and rationally, you will come to a conclusion that nothing is logical and scientific. Whether the story of Adam and Eve, whether the story of snake, whether the cursing of Jehovah, or crucifixion of Jesus Christ, and transfer of your sin to somebody else, and getting crucified in the name of ordinary people living now, this cannot be digested by anyone who has got 1% brain capacity to think. And tomorrow we will be explaining, next day we will be explaining about the qualities of Jehovah directly with the quotation from Bible. You should understand, be a Christian, but teach others the scientific, logical and rational thing. Throw away the fake stories and blunder stories and created cooked stories which are all superstitious stories for persuading people to become the follower of Jesus Christ. Many political parties do such type of things. Why Jesus Christ followers should do such fake story spreading, such blunders, the threatening, the treachery and the crookedness in the 21st century, where people have got the freedom to think nicely. So my request to every Christian, every scientifically, logically, rationally thinking Christian, don't try to increase the membership of Christians in the fake story or event explanation way. Only truth will triumph always. Why the Christians in America, UK and Europe are not going to church? Because they started thinking logically, scientifically and rationally. They came to know that 99% of the messages, 99% of the events and the stories explained in Bible cannot live in the 21st century, cannot stay in the 21st century. So they rejected it. I am not telling that you should reject Jesus Christ or anyone. But think about it. Take good. It is your duty to live a scientific life in the 21st century. Whether somebody is bringing you the story of Socrates or Lord Krishna or Allah or Prophet Muhammad or Veda Vyasa, don't mug up. Think scientifically, rationally and logically, then only take it. Take good from everywhere, not from one book alone. That is the word Ano Bhadraha Kritavo Yanto Vishwadaha. Let noble thoughts come towards us from all over the world. This is the Vedic message. Take good from everywhere, including Bible, if good is available there. But any good thing should be a right thing, and it should be scientific, logical and rational. It should be psychologically, physiologically, family and society and nation based benefit producing explanation. With these words, I would like to close my message to you. Such type of messages will be coming in English. Continuously watch YouTube. You will be getting all this information. And more than 4,000 hours of speeches uploaded in YouTube. You can directly take that. My pranams to you. And spread the message to others. Thanks a lot.